good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is. So today we're at Millbrooks again, and we're here with the owner, Mr. Wright, and we're going on a special journey today. And Mr. Wright, take it away.
Hello, I just want to introduce you to our work and particularly what we do here at Milbrooks Resort, and also going up into the Cockpitcountry so we can learn more about the history and medicinal plants. But it gives me great pleasure in introducing to you what we have here at Milbrooks Resort, and also here in Jamaica in general. I just want to thank you to tune in, and let's go for a ride. All right, so you know, Milbrooks is quite a different environment from where we're going. Here you'll have more luxury homes, villas, and where we're going into is quite rustic, but at least you'll know exactly how people lived in the early 1800s and how they live today. And you know, we all want to know about organic foods and organic plants and how to eat and medicinal plants and so forth. But you know, today we're going on that journey. So
yes, sir.
All right.
So you know what to do: like, comment, share, and subscribe. So you think that the youths of now are into like financial liberation, the black young people?
Well, in actual fact, let me tell you something here. It has to start with education, you see? Education is the key to the approach in life, and most of them are ignorant of the real issue where that is concerned, because you have to work hard to earn.
See our youngsters being empowered by the things that we know and things that we do, and learn from them. Examples now to use the natural resources in Jamaica to build this country, and to find like-minded people both locally and internationally who want to share this whole new concept of creating a new paradigm where we can create our own medicines. We could educate our folks according to the cultures and the raw material that we learn from here in the field of biotechnology, biochemistry, and so we can preserve people's lives. We could create more superhumans, both mentally and physically. I mean, it seems far-fetched, but we have what people call now superfoods.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And why can't we do that? I mean, look right outside there. We have the castor plant, that's where you get the castor oil from.
That's right.
And the castor oil is the first oil that was used even in the days of the pyramids. That's what they used to have light. And it's still grown here naturally, wild all over the place, but nobody uses it to make any value-added products or to make stuff that you can do commercially. And you can use castor plants, castor oil to make lubricants, oil to run your car, to run the airplanes, to use as cosmetic stuff. You know, I mean, it's amazing, you know.
And it goes back to what you said, my daughter's about reservoir. This is our reservoir.
Exactly.
So let's use our reservoir.
Right. And why not teach your children how to utilize these raw materials to make their own products where they can grow it, they can make it commercially to enrich their lives financially, and so their children could understand that, oh, my daddy made this product from this plant.
So how is the fishing thing right now?
Why fishing thing kind of slow right, and everything gets slow for the disease of grown, you know?
Good afternoon, or is it good morning? Welcome to the Cockpitcountry. My name is Fabian Stennett, artist Gangonja Never Die, and today I'm just going to give you a 50-cent tour of what is the Cockpitcountry. Yes, what is the Cockpitcountry? The Cockpitcountry is that special designated area of the parish of St. James, Trelawney, Manchester and St. Elizabeth, which have a certain amount of flora and fauna in terms of medicinal qualities. There are herbs in the Cockpitcountry that you will not find nowhere. We have over 60 species of butterfly that you will find nowhere else in the world, which is only in the Cockpitcountry. The Cockpitcountry is diversified. In other words, you have diverse type of medicinal bush with a large amount of phytochemical.
Wow. So this is the Springfield Baptist Church in the district of Springfield, St. James. And the leader of our second Maroon War Samsharp preach at this church. That war was called a Baptist war because most of the churches in this area up here are primarily Baptist church. Our leaders, our heroes at that time, you know, Samsharp to preach here. You had Kojo, you have a Kongpong.
Rejected it.
Taki, who rejected the whole idea of slavery. So if you wonder if they still were passive or docile and still work for the slave masters without saying anything,
what would our condition?
What would our condition be today?
Yeah.
Would we still be working in the field planting for people from Europe?
That's something to think about, you know.
It is really definitely
No.
something to think about. And
was this church just a black church? Was it only black parishioners attended?
No, no. Most churches in Jamaica that you see built like this with these huge cut stone rocks, limestone rocks, you know.
Entrance.
You know, these are built from slave labor.
Absolutely.
These churches were built not for slaves, but for the English colonizers and their friends.
Right.
So we weren't supposed to worship in this building.
But
you know,
Samsharp rose to the level of he became the preacher here.
Yeah, but how? Well, you have to understand how and why did Samsharp became a preacher.
Well, that's the lessons that we need to
Now,
know.
you may want to ask yourself, was it because of the destruction of the war between the English and the destruction of property between the English and the Maroon, the constant fighting because they fought over 50 years? And British burial site, but really highly unlikely that Maroon soldiers were buried here because of the deep-seated hatred that the British had for the Maroons. People were fighting for their freedom. So we're gonna walk down to some of these headstones, these graves, so you can see on the headstone some of the names of these people that fought against our Maroons, our ancestors. However, when we consider medicinal plants in Jamaica, here are some of our medicinal plants that we have in Jamaica. And this plant with the green leaves, that's turmeric. And that's where you get turmeric from.
Superfood, medicine.
What kind of fruit is this?
This is called calabash. And this is what our ancestors used as utensils and plates and bowls to eat from. So they'll get dry like this, and they'll cut it open, and they may eat their soup, drink their soup and stuff from standing on that had fought against the Maroons, our ancestors. They tried at least to keep our ancestors enslaved. So we're going to take a walk down here and feel the heads, look at the graves that you'll see some of the names of some of the people that fought against the Maroons.
You see the mason?
Yep.
Then link up, man.
Get the years.
Organized.
That wife and that man over there, so we'll get that one over there.
I think white.
Yeah.
Color. Late color. Sergeant.
This was one of the wife of the sergeant that was stationed here in Flagstaff, Jamaica. Back then it was known as Trelawney Town, and the sergeant is right over there, Charles Ross, from England. And so these people were sent here, they were stationed here to basically supervise the plantation, which is to keep the Maroons suppressed keep them in line where they will continue to clear field and plant whatever produce to be used by the English folks and to be sent to England for their use. And so we're right here at the gravesite. And these are things that naturally you won't read about in the history books, but you have to come here to actually witness it yourself.
Rain or water?
Natural spring water. This is how we live in St. James. Most people here live by spring water. So this is where we get our water to drink and to do our household stuff.
It's cool, man. This is living off of the fat of the land.
So we're in a historic district of Kensington, obviously named after Kensington in England. So this is where the emancipation fight started for the liberation of people of African descent in Jamaica. So quite obviously the slaves couldn't stay out here on the plantation, so they have to retreat to the mountains where they live. And you can see those mountains over there. And in those mountains you have over 40 caves. So the slaves had to probably live in the caves and then come back on their opportune time to strike and to fight the English colonizers for freedom, which we now have today. So, you know, we're going to move over into Tangle River at Camp Milbrooks, at Millbrooks Farm, to look at some of these caves where the Maroons hid and to look at some of those medicinal plants that they have used back then and now they have in a sauce that's called jerk sauce, which is used to make jerk chicken.
Okay, so we're going, guys. So now we're exploring the caves now. I'm on the trail. So now we're at the caves and the breeze is something else. It's just cool breeze. The ambience is something else. You can hear all the nature and it's so lush. Oh my gosh. Millbrooks. You saw the mansion, but the farm, all nature lovers, you know where to come?
Yeah, this guy's staying
Cool.
Oh man. Well, that's what they use and rust out and ball out and rust out again.
So now we have the sheep over here. Yes, sir.
Well, this is an example of what people of African descent, where they live, what they did, but most importantly, this was a place where people fought for their freedom. This was the actual battlefield, part of the battlefield area in this part of St. James where people fought for emancipation. So in the future, we hopefully will be having a reenactment of that war between the English and the Maroons right here at this location. So this is a future reenactment, the war between the English and the Maroons, so we can showcase that to the world and explain to them exactly what happened here. On your left here would be actual science, our Maroon Heritage Museum, which would be a museum that would be quite interactive. However, we'd want it to be very unique in the fact that we want to have a DNA machine, so people of African descent can come here and do their genealogy, because Jamaica was obviously the logistic hub during the transatlantic slave trade. So most people of African descent that live in Jamaica may have DNA linkage to people outside of Jamaica in North America and other parts of the Caribbean. So it's important for us to get this project underway so we can rekindle last family ties, so people can know exactly if they have gene pools situated anywhere in the Caribbean. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, here's a typical example of what I'm telling you about, that of the amount of medicinal plants and plants that you can use in Jamaica to make value-added items. This is the castor plant that makes the castor beans. The beans can be used to make oil, lubricants, cosmetic stuff, you know what I mean, medications. And this plant was used during the Egyptian period to make the first oil where they can get to light, to make light, you know what I mean. So this is here a prime example of why we should encourage people to come and do biotechnology, you know, and to make these, to use these plants, the beans from these plants, to make value-added products. You know, it's right here. It's grown wild all over the place. So why not, folks? So what you're looking at right now is the papaya trees, and so for this can be used. The young leaves can be used. You crushed it, you drink the sap of it, and it's very effective in treating mosquito-borne diseases like chikungunya and stuff like that. What this does is increase your platelet counts in your blood. So if you need something to increase your platelet counts, this is a plant that can be used to increase your platelet counts. Remarkable, isn't it? Yes, and so we need the educators, the researchers to come on down, come and stay at Milbrooks Resort, and we'll introduce you to all kinds of plants that you can have options to. Well, right here we have a plant that's called jamun, or Java plum, and this tree is very important in treating diabetes and hypertension. It also makes a very tasty beverage. It also can be used to make wine and also rum. The longer you keep it fermented, the rum is spectacular. But however, the main thing that we want to know about this is that we want to use this to treat diabetes and hypertension. Normally when you drink the juice of this berry, it will reduce your sugar level, your glucose level, and your hypertensive, it will reduce your blood pressure, I think within about 30-40 minutes. Your blood sugar and your blood pressure will go down within 40 minutes. This fruit also is very high in antioxidant, and we also know what antioxidant does for keeping you young, and you know, so I'm gonna try and get one of these berries so you can actually see it. And so let me just pull this lid down here. So this is what we have here now, is the berry from the Java plum tree, or jamun. This tree is not endemic to Jamaica. It came from India. So if you want to research it, Google it. Just Google Java plum or jamun. And so it's quite tasty. It gives you it's black. You know, the unusual thing about this is that birds don't eat this, and it's not infested by any worms. So it must be very significant. So if you break it like this, you have this kind of purplish color. So it's very high in antioxidant, and you know, it's very tasty. I usually have a few of them in the mornings. So these are the type of things that we like to encourage researchers and scientists to come to Jamaica to do research and to make value-added products from these things, to find added options to treat various illnesses. I mean, many people have suffered from diabetes and hypertension for centuries. But here we have one fruit that not only can treat these illnesses, reduce your blood sugar level down and your blood pressure down within 40 minutes naturally, but also you can use it to make a nice beverage, wines, and also rum. So if you believe in spirits, well, here you have your liquid spirits right here in your hands. So we encourage you to come on down. Come to Milbrooks Resort, come to Millbrooks Farm, and see what we have here. Hello everyone, welcome to Camp Millbrooks at Millbrooks Farm in Jamaica. We encourage all scientists and researchers, educators to come on board and collaborate with us. We're hoping to construct our first international research lab here in this facility. Also our spa, where we can treat a number of different ailments, from post-traumatic stress to chronic illnesses like cancer and diabetes. So come on board. We'd love to talk to you and about potential investment opportunity. As you can see, we're in a cockpit country that has more than half the world's medicinal plants. So we'll invite you to come on board and talk to us and let's see what we can get done going in Jamaica. Thank you, and look forward to seeing you.
It was such a nice time at the farm. You see the caves right there, then after you see the peacocks, the hens, the sheep over here, the horses are down there. This property is massive, man. But Millbrooks